It's here, the big chapter 200 of 100 Girlfriends, and there's twos all over the place. This is chapter 200, volume 20 just launched physically in Japan, and season 2 of the anime is just a little over 2 weeks away by the time you're watching this video. And everyone is here to celebrate, but a familiar ominous voice says that just making out with Rentaro is far too average for this milestone chapter. So they're here to spice things up for this party, and just sucks everyone into a conveniently created space just for this arc. But before the festivities can begin, since it's the big milestone number and also it's the end of the year when we're supposed to be the most thankful, let's thank Nakamura and Nozawa for continuing to bring us this series, as well as the Scanlation team that puts in the hard work to bring it to us so we can read them in our own languages, by supporting them where they post them. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest 100 Girlfriends chapter, Chapter 200, 100 Girlfriend Party. Let's go! The god of board games has set up his own celebration in the style of Mario Party. Welcome to 100 Girlfriend Party, where each space represents a previous chapter in 100 Girlfriends, and one member at a time will roll the die, and they need to reach chapter 200 by the end. Otherwise, I guess the color spread and the joy of celebrating 200 chapters will just kind of fizzle out, with an awkward whimper. But wait, hold on. They need to reach chapter 200 and will only be rolling the die 32 times, one for each girlfriend and Rentaro himself. Even if everyone rolled a 6, that only comes out to 192. This is rigged from the start. They are set up to lose. These cheating gods are always up to no good. Oh, I guess the 6-sided die can roll up to 10. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna blame Mario Party on that one. So everyone advances 10 spaces to reach chapter 10, and suddenly, oh yeah, that, so, Chio is now suddenly 18 years old, and, oh, wait, the glasses, the long drill tails, oh no, the flashbacks, they're coming back, quick, Earl, do something to break the tension and move on to the next paragraph. Okay. Thanks, Earl. Moving on. Besides the sudden rise in Chio stocks among fans, this whole transformation is a lot more than just making her older. There's some fun little details here, like the fact they actually put her in a high school uniform instead of just making her middle school uniform bigger. You can see this is actually very similar to the standard variation of high school uniform, much like Nano wears. But an interesting detail is in the skirt. I swear I have a point, officers. Let me explain. It's how short she has it here. I swear I'm gonna make a point. This is not the standard length for the girl's uniform. You can see that on someone like Shizuka. But the fact Chio is purposefully making her skirt this short shows just how much she has loosened up since her introduction. Most likely due to the influence of the Hanazonos, no doubt. It's also interesting that she kept her hair in those pigtails, and they grew out to be those long drill tails in design. And here we all thought she would just be a clone of her mom. I actually much prefer this design with her hair. It's Mei's turn for a roll, and wait a second, what is this order? First Chio, now Mei? Is it just completely random for a random oh, okay. Yeah, it's just whatever is convenient for the plot. Got it. But she rolls a 2 and ends up on the kissing zombie chapter. Oh, and look at that, Nakamura and Nozawa did the hard work for us showing us the chapter they are mimicking in the background. That saves me, or I guess Earl, time for not having to go dig into the manga for references. So Mei turns into a kissing zombie, but it turns out she is fighting back against the kissing urges as it goes against being a dutiful maid. But it's all for naught as Rentaro gives in and kisses her back, telling her she needs to be a bit more selfish. A Hari rolls and we land right back in her villain arc, and her villain self is reminded and caught up that Rentaro is not only 5-timing her daughter, but now 31-timing her. And yes, I see the author still continues to laugh in my face about the seasons not changing, by fully admitting it in the manga itself. You may all point and laugh at my misery now. Akko decides to go next, and with an 8, she lands on the Season 2 anime opener chapter of His Name. So she gets body swapped with someone, and it's Mei. Making Akko a kissing zombie, though not technically because it's still Mei, and we see Akko is in Mei's body over there, and I think I'm just getting lost at this point. Though Mei doing the frozen Akko smile is super cursed. I agree with Tama, it's perplexing. New Girl Nemu is up next, and with a 5, she lands on chapter 28, the first installment of the baby chapter. Oh, look at baby Nemu! She has a little sheep onesie and everything. Oh, I must protect her. And old habits die hard as villain Hahari forces herself to hold back being obsessed with baby Nemu. But Ms. Natty and Yaku decide to take over for taking care of her. But sleepwalking babies are apparently a thing as she causes a ruckus with the two of them, until eventually flying off and Rentaro needing to catch her before she falls to the ground on her head. Hikari is next up and she rolls a large 10 on a 6-sided die. I don't know, blame Mario Party. And she lands on chapter 38, Karaoke Crisis, where she becomes more sensitive to cuteness. I guess that was the theme of that chapter? But she doesn't really notice any difference in herself until she notices baby Nemu, and she reacted pretty much how I did about 30 seconds ago. As she dotes on baby Nemu all motherly, and Karane can't help but laugh that she's exactly like her mother, even though she claims she isn't all the time. Yamame is up next as she rolls a measly 3 and hits chapter 41, and her art style is immediately switched up to that of the overtop shoujo manga. Hell, even the squirrel and butterflies got affected too. Okay, I've been playing way too much Squirrel Girl and Marvel Rivals. The intrusive thoughts are winning. Mai's turn and she makes the group some progress with a roll of 7 to reach chapter 48 of Tsundere Loss. Fitting that the only other tsundere of the group lands on this. Almost like this is entirely scripted. But Mai loses all her tsundere much like Karane did in that chapter, but instead of becoming meek like Karane did in her chapter, Mai has embraced her love of Rentaro instead of constantly denying it like a lovesick manga heroine, and wishes to kiss Rentaro along with Mei, who has become a kissing zombie who has become Akko. Are you guys following this at home? I had to make a chart to keep track of everything so far. But as we learned in the Tsundere Lost trilogy, all that tsundere energy needs to go somewhere. And how about that, Yaku just rolled a 2 and ended on the end of the trilogy, and inherited all the tsundere traits. Convenient. Though a tsundere 89-year-old just comes off more as a cranky old lady than a tsundere that we're used to. Kind of puts your cranky old neighbors in a different light when you just think of them as tsunderes. Sue is eager to roll next and with a nice round 8 and lands on chapter 58, Ms. Natty's Freedom Time, where Sue finally becomes what she's always wanted, a number. And to no surprise, she is overcome with all sorts of emotions that this day has finally come. Good for her, I'm happy for her. Though this did make me question, is this Sue admitting that 2 is her favorite number? Even though she has said multiple times that she can't pick one. Then I realized she only became a 2 because of what was said earlier in the chapter, and how this is kind of a 2 festival, so it's fitting that she became a 2. We even got Mei Akko here to congratulate her. Nice to see that their friendship is still going strong. It's Tama's turn meow, and much like cats themselves, she rolls a 9, landing her right at the beginning of the Hot Pot Sumo tournament, and gets inflicted with the aphrodisiac effects of sea otter meat. And since Tama is a cat, that just basically puts her into heat. Oh wait, the manga makes that joke for me. Momiji is last up for this chapter, and after rolling a 5, she lands on chapter 72, the Nanoputian's Prince, which apparently Momiji knows by heart as she knows exactly what is about to happen, and what she must do as she takes off, and jumps right into Hahari's chest as she shrinks. Then Hikari finds this cute and can't resist joining in. Momiji has conquered the Boob Muta Triangle, and now has moved on to the land of milk and booby. She is quite the explorer. The chapter ends with the characters just as confused as some of us probably are, and begin to worry if us the readers are still able to follow what is happening. I mean, we've been with you guys for 200 chapters now. Like Rentaro says, we've followed every wacky adventure you all have been on so far. We always come prepared for the unexpected. With over 160 more chapters to recap, this is looking to be a 3-parter that will take us right into the new year. Let's see how much chaos they can get into by the time they reach the end of this board game. And speaking of the end of the year, this is most likely the last 100 Girlfriends video of the year. So thank you all who have subscribed and joined me along with this ridiculous idea of covering this crazy weekly manga. It's been a lot of fun. Can't believe how much has changed in such a short amount of time. I occasionally rewatch some of my earlier chapter recaps and cringe at some of my jokes and narration. I swear I sound bored or half asleep in most of them. I don't know how you all watched them, but I am thankful you did and stuck around with me as I improved. And that's all been under a year. And in a few more weeks, we'll be hitting a milestone of me covering this series for a whole year. Don't know what I'll do to celebrate, but we'll see when we get there. Anyway, I've been Moonlight150. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all for more of these videos in 2025.